So hi, hello, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, guys. So finally, we are starting SQL series in our YouTube channel. So if you are a beginner, don't know about anything about SQL, this video, this series is designed for you guys. So if you want to, crack the software jobs or want to enter the IT field, they will definitely ask you the questions on SQL, guys. So they will test the basic knowledge on SQL. So if you're able to fetch the data from the database using simple queries, you're definitely going to crack your interviews and get selected for your jobs. So in the series, in the videos, I'm going to explain you with all the real world examples around us and make you clear with all the basic concepts of the SQL so that it will be definitely helpful for you to crack your interviews. So when you use all the real world examples and when I explain you, you can relate with it and you can say the same thing you can explain in the interviews and you can easily remember the queries. And I will tell some of the tricks to remember the SQL queries so that by these tricks you can easily practice the tricks. Sorry, you can practice the queries and you can definitely crack your interviews. So this will be definitely helpful for you. So hope you are very excited. Let's get into the video. So now let's start with a very simple thing. What is data? So the data means the information which is present around us, right? So for example, your name, your phone number, your house address, your door number, your Instagram ID, your Facebook ID, everything present around us is data, right? So the world does not exist without data. So this data is really very important. So guys, if you really want to know about SQL, you should be able to know about four concepts. The first one is database. Second one, SQL. Third one, DBMS. And the fourth one is server. If you know what are these four concepts, the SQL commands and usage of SQL will be really very easy, guys. So let me tell you all these four concepts with just a simple example. Let's say you went to a grocery store or a kirana shop for buying sugar. Now you bought the 1 kg of sugar and you came to your home. Now to store that sugar, you will pour it in a container and you'll use it, right? You will not just pour it on the floor and you will use it for the cooking, right? You will definitely store it in a container and you'll use it for the cooking purpose, right? So when you store that in a container, around the that container, you will use ant killer powder, right? For protecting from the ants, right? You'll use ant killer powder so that ant won't attack the sugar. Now, this same example can be related with our concept. So we have many, lots of amount of data around us. Now we want to store the data in a container. Now that container is called as database. So database is a place where we store all the data what we have. Now from this database, in this database we'll have lots and lots of data. Now I want to extract specific amount of data. Now to extract that specific amount of data, I need to communicate with that database, right? Now without communication, I cannot fetch the data from the database. So to fetch the data from the database, there should be one language to communicate with the database. That language is called as structured query language, SQL. So SQL is a language where we can communicate with the database and fetch all the information from the database for our usage. So now what is DBMS? Now DBMS is an extra software layer which is present above the database. Now this is a software layer where it acts as a, like in the previous example we have discussed about ant killer powder, right, around the sugar. So around the database it acts like a protecting layer or the security layer. Whatever the requests that are coming from outside, first it will come to the DBMS and this DBMS will handle all the requests and then it will get the permission from the database. So this is about DBMS. Now last concept is about this server. Now server is something where we can host our database on the internet for 24/7 so that we can access the database on the internet for 24/7. So this is about all the four concepts: database, SQL, DBMS and server. Hope you got some understanding about all these four concepts, right? So guys, we got some clear understanding about what is database, right? So database is a place where we can store the data, right? Now this database is basically divided into two parts. One is SQL and another one is NoSQL. Now in the interview, the interviewer definitely asks you the basic question: what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL? So you can answer that in this way. So SQL is a database where we can store the data in the form of rows and columns. So it is also called as the relational database. So here in the SQL, we have examples like, you know, SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL. So these are all the examples which come under the SQL database. And in the NoSQL database, the information can be stored in the form of key value pairs, or even it can be stored in the form of documents. The famous example for the NoSQL database is MongoDB and the Amazon DynamoDB. So these are some of the examples of NoSQL database. So in this way, you can answer to the interviewer, guys. So if you have the clear amount of understanding of what you're learning, you can definitely, communicate in the interview very well. So this is the basic difference between SQL and NoSQL databases. So hope you got some understanding about these two. And now let's understand. And so in this all the videos and all this series, we are going to concentrate on the SQL database, guys. We are not going to learn about this NoSQL database, because in the interviews also they will, ask about this SQL kind of things. So in the relational databases, they will ask you the questions. So relational database means this rows and columns databases. This is also called as the relational databases. So relational database means rows and columns kind of data is called as relational database. That's it. And now in the all the videos, we're going to learn about this relational databases only. And by using MySQL server, we are going to, give the commands to the database, and we are going to fetch the data from the database very clearly. Now here the SQL is also divided into three types, guys: DDL, DQL, DML. Now DDL means data definition language, DQL means data query language, DML means data manipulation language. Now, let's understand each one of the language very clearly. The first one is data definition language. So this is one of the basic language where we can create the tables. So here we will have some of the commands like create, drop, and alter. So these are the some of the commands which are used in this kind of language. And the second one, data query language. So here this language is basically used to retrieve the data from the database. Already existing database will be there, right? So we can retrieve the data from the already existing database. So for example, let's say we have some employee ID employees database. Now I want to retrieve the data of the employees whose salary is greater than 1 lakh. Now this language can be used to retrieve the data from the database. So here we can use commands like select, select row and where conditions. All these queries we can use in this DQL language. And next, going to DML, data manipulation language. So here we can use the commands like insert, delete, and update. So these are all the commands we can use in data manipulation language. So this is about the types of SQL languages that we have. So hope you got some understanding. So basically this is the basics of, that you must be able to know to write the queries of the SQL. So many of the people, what they do is that they don't understand these basic concepts and they directly go and write the commands to the SQL. Because of this, they don't have any understanding why they are giving commands to the database, why they're writing queries. They don't have that minimum understanding also. So when you clear with all these, you know, basics and foundations, the building will be very strong, and your queries, writing queries and fetching the data from the database will be also very strong. So hope you understood this video. If you have any doubts, you can just comment below. I will definitely try to reply you. So meet you in the next video.